Hi friends, thank you for tuning in to Shelby Artist YouTube channel today. It is great to have you here and I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to make this video about customer service tips and I will title it Do Better Customer Service. In some of my videos, a few, I do venting. This is one of the venting videos. However, I am using it in a positive way to vent those frustrations, express those frustrations as I do in my venting videos, but make it positive and some good fruit come out of it. So do better customer service. I'm hoping that maybe people who find this video work in customer service or are thinking about applying for work in customer service. I'm giving you tips about it. Customer service is a very broad category of work that applies to many different fields of employment. Did you know that customer service jobs are even offered under the government, public sector? Of course, as well as commercially owned restaurant chains, fast food, etc. We also have customer service in retail, working at supermarkets, working at malls, I personally worked in retail at a tool store, Harbor Freight Tools. That's my retail experience. I've also done customer service working in hospitals at the reception desk. You can do customer service in call centers for virtually any company of any subject of any field, etc. So if you have a call center job, you're more than likely doing customer service. And these tips that I'm going to give you as someone who has worked in the customer service for cumulatively 5 years experience. I'm no longer doing that, but I had a couple encounters in my daily life recently that I'm going to talk about, and this is the venting part, and I'm using these as examples. And they were restaurant, okay. So I was at this one restaurant and I had previously been acquainted with the manager there. He was friendly to me and we were chatting. And so when I go back there, you know, he recognizes me in that positive sort of manner connection that we have. And the last time I was there, I noticed there were flies in the restaurant. And the longer I sat in the restaurant, the more flies I saw. And so eventually, as I was leaving, the manager was conversing with me and I hesitantly mentioned to him, matter of factually, no judgment at all. My intention in my heart is really trying to help when I said this. I just want to bring it to your attention that there are a lot of flies in here. And he immediately got very defensive and he put his hands on his hips, you know, like that is a defensive posture. That's a dominative posture. And so anyway, it's not relaxed and welcoming and etc. So number one tip, if you're working in customer service and you're interacting with a customer, beware of your body language and do not go like this. It's not terrible. It's minor. And maybe, you know, if you're not someone as perceptive of these things as I am, you might not, it might go over your head and you might not notice it, but still, even if you don't have the head knowledge about it, you'll subconsciously pick up that this person is feeling defensive and trying to dominate. That is what the hands on the hips posture means, okay? He did that. He's never done that before. As I said, we've always in the past been very friendly with each other, okay? And this, right when I told him, I just want to let you know, there are a lot of flies in here. He did that posture. Like he was thinking, he took what I said as an attack. Okay. That's what the body language message is giving as a perceptive person that I am. Okay. So it wasn't a big deal, but that was the one time his demeanor towards me had kind of changed a little negatively. And I thought, well, actually, I'll tell you the end of the conversation. He replied defensively, of course, and what he said was defensive as well as his body language was defensive. He said, I don't really have control over that because when the people come in the restaurant and they open the door, the flies come in the door. And I said, well, I know why they're here. There are a lot of flies outside. I'm just letting you know that there are a lot of flies in here. I'm making you aware. As the manager, who should do something about it, because if you don't do something about it, I didn't say this because people can get really scared at certain words, even though I don't, but I know from experience that if you do not get this fly problem under control as soon as possible, they're going to breed when in the nighttime when everyone's gone and your restaurant is shut down, okay, for the day, and you come back in the morning and you find maggots in your food. Okay. I didn't tell him all that, even though I could have told him all that, and maybe I should have told him all that. The whole entire reason I brought up hesitantly, because I know how defensive people are, we were on that sort of a level where I felt comfortable enough to say, matter-of-factually, non-judgmentally, there are a lot of flies in here. I just want you to be aware of that. If I were not a customer, and if I were working for this man, if I were one of his staff members, employees, and if I were to say that to him, he would probably fire me. Now, what's happening here, I'm assuming, is he is taking my comments personally. Not sure why or how that could even be taken personally, logically. This is an objective comment, not a subjective comment. My heart, intention, is trying to help you. As someone you hired to benefit your company, what I am telling you right now is benefiting your company, and you have to be able to be objective enough and logical enough and on the same wavelength of intention enough to benefit your company, you know, to not take this as a personal insult and get me out of your presence by taking away my job for trying to help you. what this complaint about this manager, even though he is a manager of a restaurant, he is still in a customer service position. And not only that, he's a leader of a team of people who are in a customer service position. So he's training people in customer service. And I'm sitting here complaining about him and using him as an example of what not to do. He probably did say thank you, you know, but like I said, I'm using this as an example for the video, okay? There was one other example. I mean, I'll just use general examples, okay? If you're working in customer service, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Here's the other example I'm thinking of. I was at another restaurant around the same time, and I was sitting at a table, and this was not me interacting with anyone. I was completely alone, and I was observing an interaction between other people in the restaurant next to me. And so I'm sitting here, and this man and this woman couple walk in through the door into the restaurant, up to the counter. And of course, there's a menu where they order their food, and then they go sit down and they eat their food, okay? So the customer service cashier, staff worker, walks up and says, hi, how can I help you? How can I take your order? What would you like today? And the man was talking, and the woman, I'm assuming his wife, was next to him, you know, crossing, holding hands or arms or whatever, okay? He was taking her out to lunch or something. And he was asking normal questions about whatever his questions were, the menu items, to clarify the menu. I do that also, you know. I sometimes see a menu and I ask questions to the cashier to clarify the menu. So he was doing that, and all of a sudden he got his voice raised. His energy was very confrontational and aggressive, and he was shocked and complaining and making a big stink about the price of one of the menu items. That was very low, actually, very reasonable, only a couple dollars, okay? Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, you know, I'm interested in having this for lunch. How much does this cost? And the cashier said how much it costs, and she pointed at the menu, and she says, this is what the menu means, and this is what it says how much it costs. And the man was like, what? I don't want to pay that amount. Do you have any other, you know, specials or this and that? Because I don't want to pay that much money for that. And the cashier, she was very platonic, you know, straight-faced, professional, and she was just matter-of-factly, like how I was doing matter-of-factly about the flies, telling the man the answers to his questions about how much you will be charged for this menu item. And he, you know, eventually just got so mad, and he said, I'm not paying that much. I don't agree to pay that much for that. And he turned around and he walked out of the store. And, you know, the energy was just like really heightened, and he was like, you know, kind of how a fight starts to break out, and he just, you know, he was angry. So he left. He was angry because he didn't want to pay the price for the food. And after he left, I heard the cashier woman go back to the kitchen and talk with her coworkers. And she couldn't let it go, that interaction that just happened. And she was telling her coworkers about the man. And she was, her tone was a little inquisitive, like curious, like asking questions, like what just happened, you know, like she didn't understand why this man acted the way he did. So anyways, I could tell that it was bothering her and she couldn't just shake it off. She was still thinking about it and talking about it even. So she was a little younger than me. You know, I'm 39. I'm almost 40. But she looked maybe, you know, in her mid-20s or something. So, you know, I have a daughter that age, okay. Early 20s. So when I see women in their 20s, I view them as my daughter's age, and I talk to them as such. And so I said, hey, come over here, I'll talk to you. And I said, I saw what happened. And I just want to let you know that there was nothing that you did wrong. I said, when you work in customer service, when you apply for a job in customer service, you must understand that's what you're getting yourself into. There will be customers that you will interact with who will just be wild and in a bad mood for no reason, and they will take it out on you. You have to handle these types of negative customers with anyone when you work in customer service. And, you know, if you're a good hiring manager, you'll actually say that during the interview, like, warn the employee, you have to be someone with a thick enough skin to deal with upset customers. And so, you know, I said that to her in a few words. And I was talking to her friendly, you know, and I said, well, I gave her a tip, as I'm doing now in this video, and I said, one thing you could have done, you could have had a nicer tone, because when you're in a heightened situation like that, you can deflect it with a gentle, kind tone, because people mirror each other. And that's all I said to her. And I kept telling her, assuring her, don't let it get to you. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it ruin your day. And she went very silent and disappeared and like ran away and like walked around the corner and hid and never came back. So whatever I said to her, as soon as I told her you could have had a nicer tone and that's it, you know, she shut down. And so I'm assuming here again that she took my constructive criticism as a personal attack. She took it personally. How can my intention for what I said be personal when I don't even know you personally? This is how I'm thinking, what? And so, you know, how can you take this personally? In general, the people I'm dealing with here, at least, in Iowa, are very sensitive to where they take the comments that I say that are not personal, personally. When my intention is actually the complete opposite. I'm trying to help them. Yes, it is unsolicited. Okay, but if I'm at the grocery store and there is a worker who does something ghastly, which occasionally happens, I am not the kind of person to go tell a manager every single time something like that happens. But I am the kind of person to go tell a manager if something like that happens, if I happen to be in the mood to correct. And I use that word instead of complain. Okay. I really hope you're understanding my message here at 20 minutes. Wrapping up soon. I could include at the end of this video maybe a slide of some more tips of customer service tips. One is to smile. Okay, if you are in person, definitely a waitress or something, smile. Okay, a secretary, hotel, whatever. Anytime you're interacting with a customer, smile. The customer is always right. Never tell a customer they're wrong. That's a huge, like almost, if I had someone, an employee under me who did that, that would be an automatic fire. You never tell a customer they're wrong. The customer is always right. You do not treat them like a VIP, even though technically a customer is a very important person, because without them, you would not have a business, literally. Your business would go bankrupt and go under and die and fall down and go flat in a grave without your customer. So yeah, they are very important people, even though in my customer service Be Better video, you do not necessarily have to treat them VIP status. Just treat them normal respect. Okay, and if anything less than treating a customer with a normal respect, you're not worthy of working in customer service. And the reason why this is so important is because if you have workers in your business with bad customer service, this will cause people to not return to your business and go elsewhere that has better customer service. Customer service is huge. If I'm going to give a positive review about any company, it's going to be the top priority I'll talk about is their customer service, okay? Or even a negative review, okay? If I have a bad customer service experience at a company, I will go on Google and tell the world a negative review, okay? And humiliate the person for their terrible customer service. So don't do it, okay? Don't disrespect your customer, because you could get fired and it could be very bad, okay? If you're working in a call center, one strike you're out policy. You will get fired if you hang up on a customer. The customer could call back and talk to your manager and say, this person hung up on me. And then you will be hung up on by your manager and you'll be out of there. Try finding another customer service job after that. Good luck. Okay. And the smiling thing, when you're dealing with customer service over the phone, still smile, just as if you're talking to them face to face, because they can hear it in the inflection in your tone and your voice. Like I said at the beginning of this video, tone is very important. All right, well, I think I'm done. If I don't include a slide after this, I could maybe write in the body of the details below some more tips if I find them. If not, please Google, do your own research, customer service tips, and I'm sure you can find really good, more interesting, valuable information that way. Okay, thank you. Take care. Peace.